Good evening. I'm Sam Jones, and I'll be your host and narrator. Tonight's performance is the reading of I Am Diving, a radio play written by Joseph Valentinetti. I'll be describing the scenes and key points of action. I'll also be letting you know when each act and scene begins and ends. Let me introduce my fellow actors. David Noble, Pat Lay Wilson, Joseph Chavez, Hal Ehrlich, Phil Blake, Paul Harrison, and Anita Regal. Tonight's play is what's called speculative historical fiction. It takes some facts we already know and asks the question, what if? What if something, even a little thing, happened differently? We hope you enjoy the play. Act 1, Scene 1. It is quiet except for the hollow sound of a manual typewriter, the rhythmic clacking of the keys, each key struck with precision, each key struck with the proper finger, each key struck with the same intensity. The letter arm swings up from their bed, driving the ribbon against the paper. Francis L. Drury is an engineer, a precise man. He pauses his typing, rolls the paper up the plate, and proofreads aloud.
The Honorable Fred Korth, Secretary of the Navy, Washington, D.C. From Francis L. Drury, 6626, blah, blah, blah. Dear Mrs. Secretary, damn, that should be a colon, not a semi.
As he is saying this, he has grabbed the whiteout pencil and begun to erase.
Fred Korth, Secretary, Navy, me. Mr. Secretary, colon.
He corrects with a pen. As he reads, he compares the documents with other papers on his desk.
Several weeks ago, I sent you photographs of the Navy Black Crow blueprint number 7083153, which clearly show Benedict, the corporation servicing the government contract and for whom I work, is using fraudulent methods to verify the serviceability of submarine parts we manufacture. That should be an I, not an O.
He uses an ink eraser with a small brush on the end. Drury re-rolls the paper into the typewriter and types, pausing from time to time to read letters on his table as though they are reference material.
Please, I beg you, before it's too late, don't let it wind up. Don't put yourself in the fix of having to send those dreadful telegrams. Must people die first? Is that what it takes? The death of service personnel, the drowning of sailors, the murder of the innocents? We regret to inform you that your son is missing on U.S. atomic submarine. Mr. Secretary, is that how you'll begin those 100-odd telegrams?
More defeated now, nearly overwhelmed.
Please, for the sake of those American lives, for the sake of us all.
End of Scene 1. Act 1, Scene 2. It is 1963 in New York City. A hopeful time. A honeymoon for America. The president and his ladies live in a place dubbed Camelot. Number 1 on television is a tie between Leave It to Beaver and The Andy Griffith Show. Ruby and the Romantics are shooting up the charts with Our Day Will Come. Jack and Terry York own a place in New York called York's Crossroads Bar and Grill, located near Times Square and the Port Authority. It literally is a crossroads and gets a clientele of regulars and others from all walks of life. It is before opening time. The foyer is dimly lit. A neon sign above the entrance door reads, York's Crossroads in reverse. Jack York enters the foyer from a door-marked office. He is an otherwise average man who suffers from a disorder called dissociative fugue. When caught in very stressful situations, he has disassociated from himself and had period of days when he was gone without a trace. That is, no one knows where he is or was, including himself. His first fugue took place while he was serving in the Navy. Because of the Navy's misunderstanding of his conditions, he received a dishonorable discharge. Both he and his wife, Terry, are average people. It is their sense of stylishness that elevates them and sets them apart. That and their devotion to each other, as seen in their fussing over each other, fixing, straightening, dusting of shoulders. Jack looks into the full-length wall mirror outside the office, checking his hair, his suit jacket, his tie. Terry enters from the same door. They have just shared playful and satisfying intimacy.
Jack, my hair, my face. Jack, look at my hair.
You know what? I was just going to look at my watch, but I thought, who cares? I'd rather look at you, hair and all.
Still look. No, don't look. Give me a minute, and it's got to be time to open almost.
I saw the new caddies today on the way back from the Seagram's guy out on the street. Wow. The fins are getting smaller. They had to, right?
This look okay?
Our DeVille, just 3 years old, and next to the new one, it looks like a monster. The fins and all.
Fins?
On the new cars. The new 63s, the cabs. They hardly got fins at all.
We need a new car, you think?
No, I don't think.
He turns right, pokes his head through each bathroom door, and sniffs. He adjusts physical things on the set. He gets a cloth, goes to the cigarette machine, and lifting the March of Dimes can, dusts the top, although it isn't necessary.
What's the time?
We got time. Take your time. I'll set up. I love you, Terry.
Me too, Jack York.
Into it.
I got it, hon. I'll take it. New York's fine dining. This is Terry York. May I help you?
Cupping the receiver.
Why don't you check the kitchen, Jack?
She hesitates until he leaves.
Thank you. Thank you for calling, for returning my call, Dr. Zenz. It's Jack. He's come back. I know, 10 days is the longest yet. It's hard to describe, Doctor. For him, it's like it never happened. I can tell from the way he's acting. It's almost like he has a physical sense of loss, like his body knows even if he doesn't, like his fugue isn't as secret from him as you might wish it were. Fugue, I hate that word. It should be something lyrical, not a condition that's tearing him and us apart. If you've got his appointment open for Thursday, I'll see he gets there. Good music, Jack.
I like the music when the door's open, Terry. I think it's homey. Huh, baby? Anybody out there?
Couple, hon.
Cash from the bank?
Oh.
She hurries into and back out of the office, now carrying a zippered bank bag. Jack takes the bank bag and hefts it as though it's too heavy.
Is in here what I think?
The gun. Mind readers.
And they say there's no such thing as coincidence.
Make a wish.
You bet. What you wish for?
Can't tell.
Even me, Terry?
Not anyone, Jack.
Jack zips open the bank bag.
Don't carry this gun in the bag with the money. It's to protect yourself. They have the money, and this, who knows what'll happen. Let them have the money. They want it. The gun's if they want more.
I hate to carry that thing at all. Between that thing and the rifle in the office, the place is like a, I don't know what.
Armory?
Armory, schwarmory. I don't like guns. The pistol and the rifle in the office.
But?
I know.
Well?
In my purse. I'll carry it in my purse. I promise. But can I leave it in the office for now?
I'll check Sally's ready.
Jack, I missed you.
I missed you too, I guess. It was just a couple days, Terry, right?
Still.
Look, please, believe me. No one's happier than me. I couldn't be happier, Terry. It's great to be gone.
Gone?
Back, God's sakes. I mean back.
Gone?
I didn't say gone. I didn't, Terry. I swear.
Jack, please, am I stupid, a moron? You most certainly did.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you know what? Forget it. I don't want to talk about her. I really don't. Just forget it. Let it pass.
Right, we should. A slip of the tongue.
You said gone.
A simple mistake. Simple as that. I meant back. Doesn't it count for anything what I meant? I didn't say gone completely. I caught myself. I said gone. It's not even a word. What do you want, for God's sake? I meant one thing and I said another. It never happened to you. It happens to everybody. It doesn't mean anything. You're looking everywhere for meaning. Not everything needs to mean something.
Terry begins toying with her wedding ring, sliding it off and on her finger.
Everything does, too, mean something. I'm not a fool, Jack.
I didn't say that either.
What should I think from what you said?
What's it mean then, you're twirling your wedding ring around your finger like that? Pulling it off and on like that? Married, not married, married, not married?
God forgive you.
I don't need forgiveness. Forgiveness for what? Something I can't control?
Are we even talking about the same thing? Marriage is a sacrament, not a joke. It means something beyond even you and me, and far beyond this ring.
I'm just talking about the ring thing. If it don't mean anything, it's okay with me. It's what I'm trying to tell you. Kind of like me almost saying, gone.
Jack calling from the entry to the bar.
Set sail.
And willing.
This is dumb.
Terry stops playing with the ring and pauses to look at it.
I like my wedding ring. If I feel like it, I can play with it if I like, and I want.
But Terry, then some things are just things.
You're right. I'm touchy. Maybe, yes, sometimes things, maybe there's no great meaning at all.
Dr. Roselli's?
We got the order. The meat order's fine. Don't change the subject.
Jack takes her hand and looks at the wedding ring. Now he twirls it around her finger.
Take it easy. If I could do something about it, you think I wouldn't?
Leave it alone. Don't you dare try to slip my ring off. You slid it on once, and that's all you get. Only I can do the sliding thing on and off. Not you, not anybody, me.
I'm kidding. Don't get so hot about it. Some things.
I get so mad at you. I can't always control my mind. I can't keep it off you. I can't get my brain to do what it's supposed to do because it'd be too convenient. I can't decide when to think and when not to, Jack York. I don't have the power. Don't ask for miracles. Don't ask me to do what you can't.
I can't explain. You can't explain. We don't seem able to figure this out. This is wonderful.
He wanders to the office door and slaps it for emphasis.
Let's just open up, Jack. Turn the key. Hug.
She opens her arms toward him. He embraces her tight and long. She playfully pushes back from him and looks down at his crotch.
Jack, baby, put that thing away.
All right already. Just a kiss then?
Careful my face, sweetie.
Turn the key.
Sure?
Sure.
3 men enter. Pete and Stevie, a pair of friends who are regulars, enter first, followed by Francis Drury, the engineer. Pete's herringboat sport coat is a half size too small. His hair is cropped close to his round skull. He has a florid complexion. His jacket is too tight. You can see his white socks above his penny loafers and below his high-water pant cuffs. Stevie is rail thin, taller than Pete by a head, but softer spoken, more reserved. Francis, his briefcase in hand, is the last of the group. He tries to go around the others and straight into the bar, but is held up by the momentary congregation.
Hi, Pete. Stevie.
Hello. Good evening.
Hiya.
This gentleman with you?
Never saw him before. Hey, Pete, order me. I'm going to the men's.
Hey, will do, Stevie.
Francis, it's Francis.
Like the talking mule?
Numbnuts.
Fungo to you, pal.
Let me get your coats. Check your briefcase.
Oh, no, I'll keep it. I'll keep my briefcase.
Good evening. How are you, Jack? Hello.
Good. Good.
Willie Trent enters. He's a businessman in a charcoal gray 3-button suit, a traveler stopping at the crossroads on his way to his next appointment. As he comes to the dais, he stops dead in his tracks as though he is waiting for Jack to recognize him.
Larry Packer. It's me, Willie Trent. Damn, never thought I'd run into you again so soon. And not even in Dallas at that.
Jack taking the man's hand, looking confused.
Sorry? My name's Jack York. I don't think we've met.
Never met? Who are you kidding?
I? No one.
Willie looking him up and down with careful suspicion.
Then I'll tell you what, my amigo. There's a guy in Dallas with your face, your whole self in its entirety, for that matter.
Never been to Dallas. Always wanted to, though. Hear great things. You from there? That's dumb. Sure you are.
Jesus, I could have swore.
Sorry, really.
Not necessary. I saw you. Had to say hello. Jesus, now who feels dumb? But goddammit, you're a dead ring.
Let me introduce you to my wife.
Listen, look at the time. It's later than I thought. I got a bus to catch.
Buy you a drink?
No need. None.
Dallas? Exciting. What did he call you, Harry something?
Larry something. Packer, maybe? Thought he met me in Dallas?
You don't look like a Larry. Dallas?
What's a Larry look like?
Not like you. You know what I mean.
My twin, maybe. Light's not so great in here. So, back to the grind. You crying or something? What are you sniffling for? You going sentimental on me?
No, I'm not going sentimental.
Stand still. Let me see your face.
Well, no, I'm sorry.
Sorry for what? You are too crying.
No, I'm not.
Ready to.
Just forget it.
No, Terry, no.
Just forget it, okay? Just forget about it.
Terry heads for the ladies' room. Jack begins to stop her, but thinks better of it. Pete comes out of the men's room, stops and speaks to Jack. Pete speaks with a deliberate pacing, but his concern is not with articulation.
What do you tell a guy with two black eyes?
Jack hates jokes that force him to play the straight man.
What do you tell a guy with two black eyes, Pete?
Nothing. You already told him twice. I get it?
I get it.
Go on, Jack.
Couple of days, Pete. No big deal.
Someplace worth it?
Nothing special.
Someday, you tell how you get by with it. Any fun?
Who knows?
Why do I try to talk? You don't want to talk? You don't want to tell? Don't.
Would you believe if I said I did?
Who's that guy come in with us?
Francis, he says.
I heard that part. I tried to joke with him. Hear me?
I heard. Not very funny, I thought, but I heard.
Cold fish.
Give him a chance.
Spending a lot. Spending the first time I heard his name today. I'm friendly.
Pretty quiet, that's all probably.
I don't like quiet. Not in a bar. Doesn't check his briefcase, keeps it with him, keeps an eye on it too. The others will think he's stuck up better than them.
The others are like that.
Yeah, they are. Huh?
Pete, he's no problem.
We gotta wait for something to start. He gives me the creeps.
Hey, Pete, he's just a guy. Shy, maybe. Do me a favor. Look out for him. Buy him a drink.
You want I should look out for him?
Who better?
He gives me the creeps.
Be reasonable. What'd he do to you?
Not to me. I'm just trying to tell you. Too quiet.
Besides that, he's new. Shy. I need my friends driving off new customers.
I'll buy him a drink.
Thanks. Good, Pete. Thanks. Good.
End of Scene 2. Act 1, Scene 3. Jack and Sally, the bartender, are in the barroom after closing. Sally is running the Z-tape of receipts for the day. The ribbon of paper chugs out of the register and snakes down to the floor. Jack is sitting with a drink in front of him, counting the cash out from the till. Terry is in the kitchen with the cook, outlining tomorrow's menu.
Okay night.
Not so bad, but nothing compared to last Wednesday.
Wednesday?
We got a load of sailors in here, on their way to Portsmouth or something, assigned to a submarine up there. The phrase, drunken sailors, not from nowhere. Those men could really put it away.
I was in the Navy. Subs. I used to think there were two kinds of sailors, submariners and ordinary sailors. So I volunteered for subs. Started training even. I thought I was in, but something came up during physicals, so I got rejected.
He indicates his chest.
Lungs are too big. My darn lungs are too darn big. You know what that means? Too much oxygen. Not only would I need my share, but I'd need somebody else's too. In a sub, air is more precious than fuel. When I was a kid, I thought I was good I could hold my breath so long. Guess I was wrong. Wound up back in the ordinary Navy, ordinary sailor.
I don't think I could stand it inside one of those things. So close together you can't even tell which smell is your own.
Hey, that could be a good thing.
They were really excited. Something about the relaunch of their atomic.
An atomic submarine?
End of Scene 3. Act 1, Scene 4. The York's den on the same night. It is simple, a comfortable room with overstuffed furniture, suggested rather than literal. A couch, a chair, a table, a bar, and an aquarium. The tank has artificial seaweed and some shells. The water purifier is a sunken ship. Bubbles stream from its broken hull. Jack and Terry are just coming in after closing the bar. Terry aches to talk about his absence, but the questions she wants answers to the most, he has no answers for. Though it is difficult for them both, it is more difficult for Terry, since she remembers every moment he was gone, while he recalls none of it. They enter quietly. We can hear the gurgling of the water purifier. The entrance is a known routine. We realize it is often carried out in silence. The removal of coats, the pouring of wine, turning on music, the unfurling of the newspaper, and the separation of the sections, the usual seats. During this time, the gurgling has trailed off. They sit for a few more moments. Then Terry gets up, takes a drink from her wine, and paces agitated.
I hate it when you tell that story, Jack.
What story's that, Terry?
That Navy story, the one about your submarines and you volunteering and your 2 small lungs.
Big. Too big, Terry.
I hate
Lungs
hearing
are
it.
too big.
I still hate hearing it.
Don't listen then. It's not like I haven't heard all your stories before, too. You think they don't bore me sometimes? You think I'm still spellbound, for example, by the time you and your friends went to San Francisco? But you still love to tell it. Such hijinks.
That's different. You know it is. Can't you just not tell it?
An okay night at the till makes my lungs feel small. Or is it big?
Don't be creepy. You're not being creepy, are you? I'm too tired if you are.
Jack jumps up and wrestles around with her playfully and tickles her ribs.
Big, 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 big.
I'm too tired. Stop it, Jack. I swear. I mean it, Jack.
She collapses into his embrace, laughing with him.
That hurts, you rat. I missed you.
I missed you, too. Or I would have, you know.
Terry slumps slightly but refuses to be taken down. She forces herself to brighten and heads across the room to where they store the wedding album.
Like to see how good-looking you used to be, mister?
I'm better looking now.
Put some money where your mouth is.
Anything but this. Jeez, not the album. The pictures?
She sits next to him on the arm of the couch, dusts at the cover with her fingers and blows on it too as she mocks a cough. She opens the album.
We haven't had these out in a long time.
No wonder.
Terry slaps him playfully, musses his hair.
Don't spoil it, you.
Where are these people in these pictures? Why we got some stranger's wedding stuff?
Look how handsome you look.
No zits.
Don't we make a handsome couple? We look nice together. We match.
Like socks.
You.
Look close. No zits.
They're on the proofs. They've been painted out of these.
Easy enough when there weren't any on me to start off with.
You asked for it, wise guy. The proofs are in the back.
She flips the album over to get at the proofs, and many unmounted photos and documents scatter on the floor. They get down on the floor together. She shuffles through the mess with 2 hands like someone stirring dominoes. She finds one she's looking for.
Well, imagine that. Zit, 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 zit.
Terry, you're going to pay for it. You better stop.
What are you going to do to me, zit boy?
Terry!
Oh, Precious. Precious, one of you is a little boy.
I'm good at it because I was a little kid then.
Sometimes when I think about all the years I didn't know you, I get sad. All that time you just growing up, doing things without me, getting haircuts and dressing for church, cuts and scrapes and black eyes and bruises. Think of all that time. How could I miss it, Jack? How?
I thought of that. Growing up together. Being pals.
You think you'd have loved me then if you'd known me through my awkward years?
I'd have loved you. I always loved you. I just didn't know where you were. Someone's awkward as you couldn't have melted into the background. So where in the freak were you hiding?
How sweet. That time in the park back when we were first dating, when I heard you reading to your nieces, they couldn't have been any bigger than this, the two of them. I knew I loved you, for sure. When did you first know?
I always loved you. I told you.
No, really. When did you know for sure? I mean, completely.
One day I looked over at you. I knew I couldn't bear to be without you. The thought of it made me cringe.
He shudders.
I felt defenseless. I kept looking around, and there was nothing there. Things were there all right, but they didn't matter. They were only things, symbols, images, and objects surrounded by emptiness, spaces. It wasn't life. Not life like I recognized. I looked back at you, and I knew. If I could, I'd die for you. I couldn't face any other way. If something happened to you, I wanted to die then and there.
They sit embracing for a few moments. She begins kissing his neck, and their passions begin to boil.
Let's go to the bedroom. I want to freshen up, huh?
I'll clean this up.
He stands and stretches, satisfied, even happy. He pours 2 more glasses of wine, kneels and begins to gather the photos and papers. Terry re-enters wearing a peignoir and slippers with a slight heel. While trying to align the documents and photos, one that he's uncovered rivets his attention. It's a photostat of his discharge, his DD-214.
What's this doing here? I threw that away a long time ago.
He flings it ineffectively from his hand. Terry traps the paper on the floor before it scuttles under the couch.
What's it doing here?
We have to save it, Jack. You just can't throw away your discharge like it was like a piece of worthless paper. Besides, we need it for appeal. How else can we get it amended?
I don't want to appeal anymore. Not again. Let them think what they want. Hell with them.
You can't say that, Jack, because anybody who hears about this or knows about it, that's what they think of you. Just what the Navy tells them to think. You know that, don't you?
I told you. Let them think what they want. They will anyways. They'll just think what they damn well please, and nobody can do a thing about it. Nobody!
Jack, you're so wrong about that. We can't let anybody go on believing this, that you're dishonorable. You're not a dishonorable man. Don't you want to prove that? Don't you want them to apologize, to get down on their smug, fat knees and tell you they're sorry?
Ha! Like that's ever going to happen. Like it will ever actually goddamn happen. We've tried. How many times so far? They're laughing at us, Terry, having the time of their lives. It takes new evidence to reopen, and they don't think anything we do now is new evidence.
But it wasn't your fault. I won't give up, Jack. We can't.
I'm tired of it. Tired of it coming up. Having to think about it. Having to relive it. All over again.
She encourages him to lean over into his embrace, and he allowing himself to be tipped in her direction because he needs her touch to reassure him but can't figure out how to get it.
What did Dr. Zen say since you've been back?
I had it with analysis. You know what that analysis thing is? It's me giving up what I think and believe in for what Dr. Zen thinks. It's like trading invisible baseball cards, except in the end, we wind up with identical decks. Hers! What's the fun in that? Worse yet, where's the life in that? My life. Where's my life when it's all over and done with? It's like killing my spirit to save my body. How can my heart reconcile a whole new self? I'm not such an oddball that I need a complete new soul.
Don't be paranoid about the doctor.
Christ's sake, she's even got you doing it. You want to live with a carbon copy of Dr. Zen's, or you want to live with me? I like me, at least when I know who the freak I am.
The doctor's on our side. If you don't like her, change doctors, but don't give up.
I don't have much faith in that.
I believe it. I believe in you, Jack, and the doctor.
You think the Navy's going to listen to a civilian psychiatrist? They didn't listen to their own. Why would this be any different?
Don't be so negative, Jack. Sometimes it's got to seem easier to forget it, but we can't.
It'd be better.
It's not the Navy, Jack, not just them. Don't you see the problem this is causing for us? If we solve the problem with them, we'll solve our own.
Is it that bad?
I never know from minute to minute if you'll be here or not. There's nothing wrong with that in your eyes?
It's not on purpose. Don't make it sound that way.
I turn around. Will you be gone like a vapor, a ghost?
For Christ's sake, I'm not Houdini.
Who said you were? Does that make it any easier on me, do you think? My friends don't believe a word of this. They say it's a woman. Go through your checks, they say. Go to him while he's asleep. See if I can get you to answer, they tell me. It's the fugue. It's a dissociative disorder called fugue. For God's sakes, he suffers from fugue. You know what they say? Well, fugue you too. Fugue you too.
What a riot. Very funny. I hope they get a good laugh off it.
It's not funny to me either, but what do I tell them? What do I say? You're not Houdini?
I don't care what you tell your friends. Don't tell them anything.
And let their imaginations take over? I need my friends, Jack, like you need yours. I need them to care about me, to respect me.
And what is it you think I can do?
I don't know. It's my problem, my own self-respect. That's the problem. How can I hope for my friends to respect me if I'm struggling to respect myself? I just need to work harder on it.
What is it you think
Sometimes I can't deal with it just like you. Please don't give up. That's what I think you can do. Just don't act like it's all our fault. Nothing's wrong with us, you or me, but neither of us can fight this alone. It's our problem, the two of us. Some days when it's me up and you down, you up, me down. And when we're both down, I can't deal with it sometimes. That's all. I can't deal with it either.
Silence while they comfort each other.
I feel empty. It's not only inside me, Jack. It's all around, surrounding us. You're slipping through my fingers, and I don't know how to hold on. The tighter I grip...
I believe in us. You and me, Harry and Jack, forever. Remember? You carved it into the beam in your parents' basement. Jack and Terry. Da-da, da-da. Why didn't it save me?
But...
Terry begins to speak, only to find she has no answer, nothing to say.
Having to look at those blank spots. You know what it's like for me? To look back and see sections of my life I don't have a clue about. Lost. No. Non-existent, not lost. You have to have it before you can lose it. I have this dream where I'm falling, and the longer the dream goes on, the deeper the panic seeps inside of me. I want to wake up, but part of me doesn't. Part of me wants to know what happens when I hit the ground. Like part of me wants to know about the blank spots in my life, and part of me doesn't. Part of me thinks it will make things better to know. And part of me thinks it will just make things worse. Then the falling takes over. My hands and feet, they turn to ice. I feel the sweat break through my skin. I'm screaming inside my own skull. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! I look down and the earth's rushing up at me as fast as I'm plummeting down to meet it. I squeeze my eyes shut tight, but it's not tight enough. The earth's still hurling at me like a freaking rocket. I wish I was blind, I swear. Gouge my own eyes out if I could. Get my hands to move, but they're frozen stiff at my sides.
When he starts again, he is drained.
But I wake up. I do. Every time I wake up. Did I scream out loud? I wonder, did I? I look over and you're still asleep. What a relief it is to know I'm the only one going through it. I sit up, still stunned. My hands and feet are stiff, frigid, and I feel my face is hot. But I know in my heart I'm supposed to go on like nothing happened. Oh, brother. And you know what's funny? No matter what the doctor says, no matter what anyone says, nothing did happen. Nothing. It was just a dream. Just a dream. Ah! What a laugh.
End of Act 1. Act 2, Scene 1, April 1963. We hear the clatter of Francis Drury's typewriter. He rolls the sheet from the typewriter and proofreads.
Honorable Robert McNamara, Secretary of Defense. Dear Mr. Secretary, many millions of taxpayers' money have been paid to Benedict Corporation for its part in the Naval Black Crow project. These funds were obtained by fraudulent methods. I have proof that a false set of calibration curves for measuring pressure depth response were used to evaluate performance of Benedict parts during Naval Sea acceptance tests. Mr. Secretary, I have a full set of Naval Benedict document number LD52IR89. I have tried everything I can think of to bring this to the attention of the proper authorities before some disaster does it for me. My efforts have met with unenthusiastic laissez-faire. They continue to mention irrelevant facts, such as the fact I was injured while working on the Naval/Black Crow project, and that under the guardianship of ad litem of my wife, litigation has been instituted on my behalf for workers' compensation, which is my right and as such has nothing to do with my allegations concerning the reliability of the falsified depth curves. My concern for the legitimate advancement in the art of submarine design to guard our continued superiority at sea is my only goal in writing to you. My request of you, Mr. Secretary, is simple. I ask that you appoint an electrical engineer of your choice. Admiral Hines appoint a naval engineer of his choice, and I be allowed a silent observer. I have no objection to Benedict sending its entire engineering staff. I will prove to all present that all the data reduction charts are false. By virtue of this, American lives are at stake. Must our sailors die at the hands of their own countrymen before someone listens?
End of Scene 1. Act 2, Scene 2. April 10th, 1963, about 1 a.m. at York's Crossroads Bar and Grill. We hear the jukebox. Pete and Stevie are on stools alongside each other. Francis is a few stools away. Jack is moving toward the entrance when Terry enters. As they come face to face, each deep in its own thoughts, they are surprised by each other. They find themselves doing that nervous little dance people do when trying to get out of the way and failing again and again. They grow clumsier with each failed attempt, more intrusive rather than less. They laugh. Terry, taking him by the arms to stop him, picks at a speck of lint on his shoulder.
Stand still, I'll go around.
Weird when that happened.
Like we merged for a second, became one thing.
My body had a life of its own. It wasn't listening to my head.
I couldn't have stopped if I wanted, could you?
Jesus, what causes that?
It's magic.
The music, maybe. That rhythm.
It's love. We can't resist each other.
But it happens with strangers sometimes.
Be romantic for a second.
It's love, then.
Isn't that better?
Serious, really. I'm serious. Could you have stopped?
I didn't have time to think, flip-flopping around like a puppet. You're so intense, sweet, Jack. It happened. Enjoy it. You were laughing. It was fun, huh?
Wouldn't it be great if we could make things like that happen? Spur-of-the-moment things? Cause them? It is a relief not having control over your every move.
Don't analyze it to death.
I'm not. But letting go like that?
Terry grabbing his nose playfully.
It's like sneezing. You can't plan that either.
Now who's ruining it with non-romantic?
A scuffle begins between Pete and Francis at the bar. The fight is realistic rather than heroic, comedic with flashes of violence but without brutality. Francis tears free of Pete and uses his briefcase to block a punch.
What the hell? Cut it out, Pete. Damn it!
I'm going to kick this rotten bastard's little ass.
Pete drops his guard for a second and Francis connects one to the head with his briefcase.
Numbnuts, know nothing, son of a bitch.
Stand still, you twerp.
Break it up.
Tell him to big jerk.
I'll big jerk you.
What if I big jerk you, you big jerk?
Bring your lunch, midget.
Jack, heaving with all his might, he manages to separate them. They stand glowering at each other. Francis grips his open briefcase protectively across his chest.
What's going on? What's the problem?
We were looking at television. It was on the television. A sub's missing. Sunk.
What? A submarine? Which sub? Where?
The ocean, off of Boston, an atomic, the crusher.
The thresher?
This little bastard says the Navy sunk it themselves, like there weren't even people on her. Some kind of an experiment, like it was monkeys, not sailors.
Maybe it's not sunk. Maybe they lost contact is all.
Francis feels as though the situation has been diffused. He begins to straighten his clothes, drops his guard.
This is all what I said. Are your ears painted on, numbnuts?
Pete swings and catches Francis square in the face, knocking him into a pratfall and sending his briefcase and its contents scattering around the room.
Damn it, my nose.
Jesus, Pete, cut the shit. Get your coat. Go home.
What about that little bastard?
He's my business.
Sally, pour some fresh drinks on the house.
Bet you 5, the nose is busted.
Make it last call. It's late enough.
Looks like it to me.
Grotesque.
You tossing me and not him?
I'll take care of him. You take care of you. Get out of here. Go home.
What's grotesque? It's just blood. You've seen blood before.
What if it's war, for God's sakes?
Oh, it's not war. It's an accident. Simple as that.
It could be a war. How'd the war start? Isn't it like this? What if the Red sunk her?
Terry kneels by Francis.
Did he hurt you? Can you stand?
I've been coming here for years, Jack.
No fights. Look at him, Pete. You're way too strong for him. It's not a fair fight.
Then he learns to shut his mouth.
You listen, numbnuts.
Francis, please, all right? Enough's enough. Look at Pete. I'm not arguing this with you. This is not an argument. It's a rule. You fight, you leave. The only question is, for how long do you leave?
And what about him?
How about I call you a cab?
But what about him, Jack?
That was solid, Pete. He needs some time.
Let me help you out now, okay?
My papers, my papers.
Tomorrow, Pete. Put this behind us. Come back tomorrow.
Is this the only place in town? If I feel like it.
Sure, you feel like it. You're welcome here. But it's your decision. It's in your hands entirely. Completely up to you.
Francis, staggering to his feet, weak at the knees. Terry takes hold of his elbow.
I should sit.
I'll get you some aspirin.
Him talking like it was some kind of make-believe. A game, for Christ's sakes. It could be war, like Stevie said.
Let it go, Pete. Terry, tell Sally flash the lights.
Flash last call, please, Sal, and get me some ice and a towel.
You're not letting him stay.
It's my decision. But no, I'm not.
Let's get out of here, Pete. Stop at the brass wheel, maybe.
Here, Francis, take these aspirin.
Ooh, that nose. It's busted, isn't it? Flat like a pancake.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. The brass rail, then.
Jack, you don't think it was, like, torpedoed or like that?
The atomic sub? Like the Russians or something? No way.
I don't know.
Some outmoded piece of crap they got left over from the war? That even seem possible to you?
I don't know from possible. It's scary, though. Russians, that close. By Boston, for God's sake. By Boston.
It's not the Russians. Besides, who you know in Boston?
Even if it ain't the Russians. What about the atomic bomb aboard?
You be all right, Francis?
They don't carry weapons on a shakedown cruise.
This could be a war.
Bullshit, Stevie. It's no war.
A war of Americans against Americans. Greed, nothing else but greed and lousy craftsmanship. American capitalism at its worst.
Shut up, you little jerk.
Don't bullshit me, Jack. It's an atomic submarine. Even if it's no war, the whole goddamn ship's a bomb. And it's just off of Boston.
Who? Anybody? You know anybody in Boston?
Nobody I know of.
What's the worry?
Stevie and Pete leave. The lights are up. The lights are brighter now after closing, and it no longer looks the least bit elegant or classy. A phone rings twice. Francis enters from the bathroom and sits on the bench for a moment before getting down on all fours to gather his briefcase and strewed pastries. Terry enters from the office, leaving the door open. She crosses to Francis and begins to help him. We hear Jack on the phone through the open door.
Here, let me help.
No way.
That isn't necessary, really.
I'll get the phone.
I don't mind.
I'm sure. Absolutely, positively sure, for Christ's sake.
I've caused enough trouble.
Nonsense.
I don't give a damn if the name's the same. Don't you think I'd know?
What's the matter, baby?
You try to run a business, and what do you get for it? Shit like this going on. Fist fights. Sunken submarines.
Who was that called?
Some reporter. Someone on that sub, the Thresher, named York. Was I related? Did I know about the loss? Where was I born? My mother's maiden name. God, I hate that. Mind your business, I told him.
Francis pulls a handful of files from his briefcase, going through them one by one, dropping them at Jack's feet.
I tried to tell them, Secretary of the Navy, Admiral Corse, the former Naval Secretary, Connolly, Senator Tower, General Accounting, Benedict Corporation. I used to work there till I reported the false data depth curves they fed the naval inspectors.
That's science. Math. How could they get away with it? You just have to add up the numbers.
There's more to it than that. Math isn't an exact field. Not many mathematicians will admit that.
Mathematicians? What? 2 and 2 don't make 4? Who are you trying to kid?
2 and 2 add up to 4. That is true enough. But A plus B equal what? The answer is anything you want it, if you're creative. And we mathematicians are nothing if not creative.
What? That's nuts. Crazy. Jack?
Just today I wrote the Secretary of Defense.
McNamara?
They wouldn't listen. Not one of them cared.
I don't believe that.
Settle down, Jack. You're too intense.
Believe what you want.
Francis, if you're feeling okay, we're close. We'd like you to leave.
Anyone can write letters. You sure you mailed them?
Jack, let's go home. Close. Go home. Get out of here for tonight.
Here they are, proofs of delivery, copies of the letters themselves.
Don't you understand what he's saying, Terry?
I'm not dumb, Jack.
I didn't say you were. I only asked if you got this particular thing.
I get it. 100%. I say it's not our problem. Let's just go home.
I'll be going now. Believe me, I had no intention of causing problems.
Wait.
Let him go.
I want to know about this. I used to be in subs, but my lungs...
No, you were not.
Please?
No, I will not, please. It wasn't your lungs.
Stop it, Terry.
It wasn't your lungs that were too small. It was the submarines, the claustrophobic smallness. You felt like you were suffocating, barely room to stand up, shoulder to shoulder every minute of every day, not seeing the sun only coming up at night. That's what you told me, Jack. Remember that?
Stop it, Terry.
You ran away.
Stop it, damn it. Please?
I can't stand it anymore.
Does blood need to pour out of me for you to know I'm hurt?
That's not fair.
I did not run away.
Whatever you want to call it, whatever you and Dr. Zenz, you call it that. But stop telling this hoax, this horrible lie about your lungs being too small.
Get it right. Too big, Terry. My goddamn lungs are too big. Too big!
Stop it!
End of Scene 2. Act 2, Scene 3. Early morning of April 11th. The York's den. Jack enters the den alone, switches on a lamp. The sound of the fish tank is louder than before. He pours himself a glass of wine. His attention fixes on the ethereal melody from the aquarium. Terry enters the den from the bedroom wearing a nightgown, but she has not been asleep.
It's late. I've been worried.
Afraid I ran away?
It's cold in here.
Maybe a little more wine.
I'll get it. You want the paper? I took it in the bedroom. You want it?
No, you keep it. No, I don't want it. Keep it.
Come to bed?
No, I'm staying up a while. You go.
I'm sorry, Jack, honey. I really am.
Get some sleep.
Did you hear me? I said I was sorry.
I heard. Get some sleep.
It's hard without you. I'm used to you there.
Try. That's all you can do. Try. I'll be in soon.
Soon? Promise?
I want to stay up a while, is all.
I'm frightened, Jack. The things I said...
The truth, right?
That's not the point.
And what is?
The point is...
There's no getting around it. You said the truth.
The point is I shouldn't have brought it up then and there in front of somebody else. In anger like that. I shouldn't have done it like that. It was cruel, and I'm sorry.
Aren't you tired?
You too. Come to bed, Jack.
He turns off the lamp. The room is dim except for the tank. He semi-reclines on the couch, and in a moment he's asleep. Moments pass. The tank sound grows louder, and a faint sound of a submarine's danger klaxon begins to be heard. Jack's sleep grows restless to agitated. Terry, entering the den, sees him on the floor.
Jack, what is it? Jack, you've fallen. You're on the floor. Wake up, Jack.
Oh, What happened? What?
Maybe you were
Oh,
maybe you were dreaming. You must have rolled off on the couch. Are you all right?
I had that dream again.
The falling dream?
Yes, but different. There were sailors there, and they were falling too. Not with me exactly. It's all mixed up. I don't know. Just this time, I don't wake up when I hit the ground.
Can that be? That can't be. In a falling dream, you can't hit the ground. Can you?
Get this. I find out all this time, in my dream, I'm not falling after all. I am diving. After all the time I thought I was falling, I'm diving. I am diving. I don't wake up before I hit because I don't hit. I slice right through, clean through. I don't get crushed. No, I'm not lucky enough for that, to just get spattered then and there, and that would be the end of it. No, not me, because I am diving. What I thought was the ground turned out to be the hard, cold, salt, dark water of the sea. I never realized it, but secretly I thought if I ever hit the ground that I'd finally be released. The end would be known. The threat would be gone. I'd finally be free. But it only plunged me deeper. I sank. First my body, then my head. Then I was nothing but a ripple on the surface. I saw the circle of light above me, but the harder I struggled to swim toward it, the deeper I descended. The circle, the dancing light, the retreating, like a false horizon, the pot of gold at the corner of the rainbow's frown. I still feel it now, a falling. My stomach's here, my heart's in my throat. My hands are sweating.
I got you, Jack. I'm holding on. You can't fall when I've got you.
End of Act 2. Act 3, Scene 1. It is November in 1963. Jack is standing by Francis Drury's typing table. Francis enters from stage right with wooden chair and urges Jack to sit. Francis sits in the armless typing chair behind the plain typing table.
Thanks. I wanted to ask, to talk to you. I kept getting these notices in the mail about the Thresher. Maybe because I've got the same last name as somebody. I don't know why.
Why me?
You seem to know something about it.
You didn't believe me then. What has changed?
I went to a meeting. This group, Justice for the Crew of the Thresher, Christ. I thought it would be some kind of a memorial.
I've been to some of those meetings. More outsiders than family. Troublemakers, true believers, hangers-on.
We, Terry and me, we even brought flowers with us. What a couple of idiots. It wasn't about the dead, the sailors. It's all about greed. Greed for money. Greed for power. Greed for recognition.
But why me?
I dream about this. Maybe if I know more, I can let it go.
Maybe it's not a matter of you letting go of it, as it is of letting you go of it.
You had passion for this.
Don't remind me. Who are you to remind me? I fought this for years. My passions are numb from beatings and denials.
They say it's Connolly's fault.
The Secretary of the Navy?
That's the claim.
Washington's an amorphous mass of government insulated by layers of bureaucrats. Who should pay?
Who's guilty?
Who is guilty? The bureaucrats, the engineers like me, the shipyard, the Secretaries of Defense, or the Navy maybe. Here's what I know for sure, for absolute sure. I know who's not guilty. I know who's innocent. The sailors on the Thresher. We are without even the satisfaction of bodies to bury. Where have they hidden our dead? Only the innocents have a right to justice. The best the rest of us can hope for is retribution.
Jack steadies himself on the chair back, feeling faint, as though if he is fading, as though he is losing control of his reality.
I don't know what to do.
Why do anything? Why give it a second thought? Did the secretary of this or that give a second thought to the lives of the men who would someday board Thresher? Do you think for a minute he lies awake at night sharing the sorrow, grieving the loss? Do you think his wheeler-dealer heart even skipped a beat for anything more than his own wealth, his own reputation, his own future.
There's no one to turn to.
We're alone, like the sailors on the Thresher. What we can't do for ourselves will never get done. What we don't do for ourselves is our shame.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Jack leaves in a state of confusion. Francis carries the extra chair back into the other room. There is a knock at the door.
Mrs. York? Terry?
Jack asked me to pick him up here.
He just left. You didn't see him outside?
End of Scene 1. Act 3, Scene 2. It is a mild day in Dallas. Men in shirt sleeves and women in sundresses around the area of the grassy knoll on Oak Street. Jack wanders in the crowd. He is wearing a long... There is a man with his 8mm camera and bag who fidgets with his camera equipment. There is a young woman in a red vinyl raincoat who comes excitedly onto the scene next to Jack. They are waiting for the president's limo to round the corner in front of the Texas School Book Depository. Except for Jack, there is a general excitement and happiness in everyone. A sense of being lucky to be where they are, lucky to be who they are, lucky to be alive. A man in a wheelchair bumps his way to the front row. Jack to red raincoat.
What's the time? You got the time?
Oh, isn't this exciting? He's so handsome.
The time. You know the time?
I got this coat special for today. I hope he likes it. I hope it makes him notice me. You think? You think he'll notice me? Red's a color that gets attention, don't you think? On my way over here, people were looking at me, so he'll look, don't you think?
The time.
Okay, partner.
Any minute now, they'll be rounding round that corner back there. See it? Houston and Oak, the corner, front of the courthouse, right over there, alongside the book place. Any second now.
Jack slips back out of the crowd, back toward the knoll.
Oh, I think I see it. The car. They're coming. I see it's the motorcycles. There's the car. The open limit. Oh, it's them. Gotta be them.
Excitement is building in the crowd. Suddenly there is the crack of gunfire.
Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh, no!
End of Scene 2. Act 3, Scene 3. The York's Den. The predominant light is from the television set. We cannot see the screen, only its reflected, strobe-like shifting light. We hear commentary from the television. The volume is louder than normal. The voice is controlled and even, delivering the news. Terry is asleep on the couch. Her posture and the disarray of the covers indicate sleep did not come easily nor quickly. Jack enters. He is rumpled and exhausted. He leans the rifle against the wall. He sits on the arm of the couch, studying his hands, barely aware of his wife so near to him.
We have suspended regular scheduled programming so that we continue to bring you the live news coverage of the Dallas tragedy as it continues to unfold. We have reporters on the scene. President Kennedy has been shot. It happened during a motorcade downtown Dallas. He was riding in an open limousine with Mrs. Kennedy and Texas Governor John Connally and his wife, Mrs. Kennedy, and the governor's wife.
Jack pulls the pistol
We
from
have
his
heard from
waistband
various sources
clumsily
that the
without
president was-
flourish and bangs it down on the end table beside him.
Mary Hospital, we have filmed that. Yes, it will be on moment. Yes, there is.
Damn!
He is rushed to...
Terry comes awake to the
Hospital.
sound of
Mrs.
his
Kennedy,
voice.
Jackie
She is
by his
groggy,
side.
though
As
startled
you
by
can see
his
there,
presence
besides
on the
stretcher,
arm of the couch.
Comforts him. For those of you who have just joined us, we have suspended regular programming. Bullet entered the
Oh,
president's skull
baby,
from
Jack,
the rear.
you startled
The
me.
second
Where
bullet
have you
struck
been?
Governor
You look
Connally.
awful. What
The
happened to
bullet
you?
was
Where have you
from
What
been?
about
Hospital
Connally?
Dallas.
What happened to
What
Connally,
Dr.
for Christ's sake?
Malcolm
Who,
Perry,
Jack? Who are you
What about
talking
him?
about,
What
Jack?
him? We're putting up a picture now. Do you have the
Connally.
photograph? Yes.
The Navy guy.
Yeah, Dr. Perry on the
The
right.
Texas
and Dr.
governor.
Clark
He
on
was
the
shot
left. The
too.
third
They
figure
didn't even
is
mention him.
White House
like he
staff
doesn't
member
exist.
Wayne Hawkins.
And the
the doctor is
president?
leading a team of
Shot in
surgeons
the
work
head?
to save President's
In the
life.
head.
Vice President Lyndon
they're still
Johnson
trying to
has
save
arrived.
his life?
President responsibility.
He was
Now
shot
the
in the
President
head.
John Fitzgerald
People
Kennedy
don't
is
get
dead.
over
Ladies
being
and
shot in the
gentlemen,
head. Just tell
we
us.
have suspended
Why
regular
don't you just say
programming
it? He's
because reporters
dead.
on the scene.
Talk to
President
me,
Kennedy
Jack,
has
not the
been shot.
television.
It happened
He
during
is
motorcade
dead.
to
Where
downtown
are
Dallas.
you?
Right here.
He was riding an
Right
open
where I've
limousine
always
with
been.
Mrs. Kennedy and Texas
You're waiting
Governor
for you to
John
wake up.
Connally and
How
Conley's
come you're on
wife.
the couch
Mrs. Kennedy
asleep
and
anyway?
Governor's wife
You were
were
gone
We
again,
have
Jack.
heard
That's
from
why I'm
various
here on the
sources that
couch,
President
waiting
Trump
and worrying
plans.
about you.
He's
Where
been
have you
rushed to
been,
Dallas
Jack?
Memorial
Jack?
Hospital. We have some
Jack,
film on
looking
that.
down
Yes,
at
it will be
himself,
up
his
in a
trench
moment.
coat,
Yes, there it
shoes,
is. We have
around
rushed
the
to Parkland
room,
Memorial
as
Hospital
though
in
it is
Dallas with
unfamiliar
Mrs.
to
Kennedy,
him.
Jackie by his
A
side.
new
As you
place
can
with
see,
new
there
anxiety.
besides his stretcher,
Strange
she
but
comforts him.
familiar.
For those of you
He
who have just
stares
joined
at the
us, we
television.
have
I
suspended
was?
regular programming.
I was?
Bullet into the
Was
president's
I?
skull from the rear.
Look at me, look at me, Jack.
The president was
What
rushed to
about
Parkland
Connolly?
Memorial
This is
Hospital in
important.
Dallas.
Is it?
With
What
Dr.
about
Skip
me? What
Clark
about
and
us?
Elton Perrin.
Is
Jack,
it more
what about
important than
Connolly? What
us?
about him?
I'm not
For putting
stupid.
us
I know it's
do we
important,
have
but
that
so are
project?
we.
Yes, see it. Dr. Perry on the right,
Jack,
Dr.
please,
Clark
dear
on the
God.
left. The
Who
first
are you
visit
talking
is
to? Who's
White House
there?
staff member
Jack
Wayne
jumps up
Hawkins,
and
the
rushes
doctor,
to the
leading a
toward
team of
where the
surgeons,
abandoned and
fought to
empty
save the
aquarium
president's life.
stands.
Vice President
Harry
Lyndon
notices
Bryan
the rifle
Johnson
leaning
has arrived
against the
in Dallas.
wall. She
He has
starts
come
to reach
assure the
for it,
mantle
but
of president's
recoils.
responsibility. Now the president
I'm
Trump
lost,
is
Jack. I
dead.
don't know. I
Ladies
want to
and
do something to
gentlemen,
help, but what?
bullet
I
into
don't know
the
what
skull
to
from the
do.
rear. The second
I need
floor
as much
of
help as you do.
the president
Please
was rushed to
help me,
Memorial
help
Hospital
me.
in Dallas, where
Jack
Dr.
walks back to the
Kemp Clark
couch. He
and
picks
Malcolm
up the
Perry. Jack,
pistol,
what about Connolly?
drops
What
it,
about
inserts
him?
the
We're
clip
putting up
several
pictures. Do
times,
we have
finally
that? There it is.
chambering
Yes.
around.
They had Dr.
He
Perry
looks
on the
down
right,
the
Dr.
barrel,
Clark on the left.
presses
Third
it
figure
between
is
his eyes,
White House
puts it in
staff
his
member
mouth
Wayne Hawkins,
against
the
his
doctor,
chest.
leading a team of
His
surgeons,
manner
fought
is
to save the
curious,
president's
like he's
life.
rehearsing
Vice President Lyndon
something.
Barry Johnson
He
has
throws the
arrived
gun
in Dallas.
back on
He
the
has come
end
to
table and
assume
sits
the
on the
mantle
couch.
of presidential
He
responsibility.
picks up
Now
the
President
pistol
John
again and
Fitzgerald is
shoots
dead.
the
Ladies and
television.
gentlemen,
Bang! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Talk to me, Jack. Tell me what you need. Tell me.
Carrie, I
Jack.
am.
Jack puts his head in her lap. She strokes his hair. He is calmed.
Carrie, I'm diving. I'm diving, Carrie, diving.
I got you, Jack, and I'm not letting go. I've got you, Jack.
End of Act 3. Final curtain. Coat